Minor malfunction. No, okay, you pulled it off. All right, so it's going to be the Odd Rogue coming out from SamuelTsao going up against Taunt Druid from justsaiyan.
Yeah, I want to talk about the lineups just a little bit.
Go ahead.
We talked a lot about the stories here, and when you get to a top 4, there typically are a lot of them. But the real difference in the two lineups is Taunt Druid versus Token Druid, and then Odd Rogue versus Miracle Rogue.
Yeah.
These differences came from just where players wanted to be in terms of playing against the opposition in the field. SamuelTsao wanted to punish decks by being a bit more aggressive, and justsaiyan wanted to have a little bit more wiggle room, it seems like, so that way he didn't ended up in lopsided matchups where he just, you look at the odds and you go, wow, I'm just dead. Like, my lineup just doesn't win here. He wanted something I feel like is a little bit more spread even, and then allow his decision-making to play a bigger agency there. There's a lot to be said about that. In his last match, he was going up against Gyu, who just kind of crumbled under the pressure. It was the first HCT appearance they've ever had. You're going up against one of the world's elite. There's a lot at stake. I think it happens to everybody in their first big tournament when they get to that setting. justsaiyan was able to win off the back of better play, frankly. And in this match, if SamuelTsao, if he's playing like he was last set, I think he could be in a bit of trouble here, because I like his aggressive lineup, but justsaiyan has been playing so well to punish combat and been playing so well to his outs that a misstep of damage is just, you're not going to be afforded that liberty.
Yeah, and one more wider point before we really focus in on the game. We talked a lot about how hard it was to get a read on this tournament metagame. What is everyone going to bring? Which are going to be the power decks? You look at what we boiled down to the top 4. 3 of those players, SamuelTsao, justsaiyan, Hunter Ace, aggressive decks. Odd Paladin, the aggressive Hunter from Hunter Ace, the aggressive Rogue from Hunter Ace, which SamuelTsao has as well. It really looked like the successful decks here outside of Stilo have really been those ones that rotated full circle right back around and punished the greedy decks.
That's right. Stilo's out now, though. So we're down to the 3 that remain of the big call.
The 3 who just like hitting people.
And in this matchup, to focus in on this one specifically, I do fear a little bit for SamuelTsao on the Odd Rogue, just in this lineup in general. I think that his one good matchup really is the Miracle Rogue from justsaiyan.
Yeah.
But Miracle Rogue can really get some stuff done if it pulls a good early draw. And so in this particular matchup, this isn't like the Miracle Rogue versus Taunt Druid matchup where you have Sap and you have Gadgets and Auctioneer and you just get to funnel through your deck and absolutely bludgeon your opponent with what you have on board. SamuelTsao's operating on a fairly honest curve, in all things considered. His hero power upgrade isn't super significant in this matchup, just given the nature of justsaiyan, just putting taunts down, and then clearing the board out. Let's go again. So once SamuelTsao starts to run out of gas, that's pretty much the end of it. So justsaiyan has to just find a way to trade down these border resources and get himself to a comfortable spot. If he's not able to do that, he's going to get steamrolled, but if he can, it's pretty good looking for him after that.
First real point of divergence now for justsaiyan. There is a Hench Clan Thug on board that demands a swipe, but there is a pretty looking Nourish in his hand as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at maybe Nourish hero power here, honestly, and just trade in the Ironwood Golem. That unlocks a lot of mana as you move forward, and it gets him to that swipe Ironwood Golem turn, which is going to provide defense. Then you back that up with Dragon Hatcher, and you're looking pretty good to go. So you pay a little bit of life here. Sad to see the Ironwood Golem just go that way, but the amount of punish available for SamuelTsao is pretty darn low here. And you have just a tremendous next turn to fight off what he places.
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the big points there that really convinced you to go down that Nourish line is that you drew a bomb, right? You would have preferred Oakheart for sure, but Dragon Hatcher is just good enough to be able to curve out through that higher mana curve. And now, as you mentioned, turn 8 is filled with an Ironwood Golem swipe turn. Saiyan's feeling pretty chill about proceedings right now.
And I want to look at that Dragon Hatcher choice a little bit more too, because when this deck was first in playoffs, the debate was, do you even run it or not?
Yeah.
For a lot of players. Yeah. And now it's like, well, do you run 1 or 2?
Yeah. And then 1 or 2 Sleepy Dragons alongside it as well.
And it's starting to lean towards running 2 Dragon Hatchers. Saiyan's on the 2 Dragon Hatcher, 1 Sleepy Dragon plan. But honestly, after seeing it, I can get on board with just the full greed. You're like, this is nonsense. I'm just going to run 2 Dragon Hatchers, 2 Sleepy Dragons, and just almost always try to scale into power stuff.
Spellstone off the top from Saiyan as well allows him to take a Ferocious Howl diversion instead of that swipe. The splash damage from the swipe didn't really achieve anything on this board state, so it's a much cleaner turn with the Spellstone instead. Still dropping that Ironwood Golem as another roadblock for SamuelTsao.
Yep.
And now there's going to be a huge problem in the form of that Dragon Hatcher coming down on the follow-up.
Yeah, I think there is some argument for hanging onto the Spellstone, but he knows his next turn's occupied with Dragon Hatcher.
Yeah.
And after that, you're looking at a 10-mana turn where Swipe and Spellstone are, you know, all intents and purposes, they're about the same mana cost after that. It's not 10, and so you're pretty darn happy with it. I think that conserving the Swipe is probably a bit more flexibility, and I'm happy to see it in hand. You know, like Dragon Hatcher pulls out a 4/8 here. Cobalt's, you know, trades over something. You swipe the other thing and clean the Cobalt at the same time.
Yeah.
But
from Saiyan's side as well, his list, speaking of kind of 10 mana turns and that's filling out your mana curve, his list is like right where I want it to be at. This is pretty much perfect in terms of how I would like to build this deck. There's no Tar Creepers, there's no Ultimate Infestation, and he's all in on that Dragon Hatcher package, which we've seen to be so powerful. And I don't think it's a coincidence that he's now the last remaining Taunt Druid in the tournament, because we have seen a lot of, in my opinion, poorly built Taunt Druid decks coming into this.
I don't question that at all. I don't like Tar Creeper in the deck. I think I want to see a little bit more greed in here. But for this tournament in particular, this was the perfect call, because he's made a little bit of a split between going, you know, full on with greed and then being able to have more game against aggressive decks. And the aggressive decks certainly dominated as you move towards the later rounds, and that was something he, you know, obviously anticipated coming into this. But overall, just I hated this deck at the start of the tournament, and now that I'm seeing like where the best performing builds are sitting, starting to like it a lot more.
Well, bad news for SamuelTsao. He cannot kill that Dragon Hatcher.
Yeah, and, you know, on the other side of things here, just cruising along. This is bad. This is bad news. And honest, this is a matchup that often is won and lost via the deck building stage and then the opening hand stage.
Yeah.
It's what justsaiyan's playing a deck that's very feast or famine. When it goes off, it is nigh impossible to stop this from happening. But when it fails, it just, you know, falls over and dies. But this was not a fall over and die hand. That'll be a Wrath for 1, I believe. Yeah, pull it back, think of it. Saiyan's hand is just so good.
So Verg is going to lead out with the Nourish here. So it's not going to be a swipe Wrath turn anymore. Does pick up Naturalize, and I think he can afford to use it here, because he is going to have an unbreakable taunt wall behind all of this.
Honestly, just use the health on your minions at this point.
That's true.
Dragon Hatcher's still churning up value. You have 4/7 on play. You're getting another one to go with it. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah, my only counter-argument to that would be he was forced to use some of the health on his Dragon Hatcher as well, when there is still, I believe, one more Primordial Drake left to pull out from that. But he's seen one SI7 get used on the previous turn. It's actually still very unlikely that that 2-1 gets taken down.
Yeah.
Never mind. Well, let me fix my face. It's 100% certain that that 2-1 gets taken down.
Saddle, have you ever used a Blink Fox before? That's how this works.
Yeah.
It's still like a bad spot for SamuelTsao.
It's just not a good turn, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if he swipes here, yeah, I mean, it's looking okay, but I don't think this is going to end well. By the way, justsaiyan's still at 32.
Yeah.
Draw some stuff.
Eat that mushroom, my man. Lich King now on top of everything. Double draw, has Ras to clear this out. He's just going to trade cube. Yep.
Yeah, this is great. There's no way for SamuelTsao to actually punish this. Like, the last thing that would be remaining is if that other Blink Box card that's an Innervate instead was Keeper of the Grove. That's it. No saps in his deck. No way to fetch some crazy shenanigans with the hallucination or anything like that. It's just good old-fashioned minion stuff.
You know what good old-fashioned minion stuff has to deal with, Admirable? Taunts. And that just kind of sucks.
A lot of taunts.
Yeah.
This is like the first strategy I made, like when I started playing Hearthstone. I was like, man, a lot of people are playing aggro decks. You know what? I'm just going to build a taunt deck.
Every minion in my deck says taunt on it, how do I ever lose?
And then I found out that the minions with taunt just don't have as much attack as the minions that don't have taunt.
Yeah.
And that was how. Feeling a Wrath for 1 on your own cube here.
It's cute, Not entirely sure I'm in love with it.
I just want 2 more 4-8s.
Yeah, you're playing a Lich King here anyway, though, or you could even go for your Q plan instead to get your 4-8s that way. And yeah, he's going to go with the Q play, gets his 4-8s anyway, and takes down the Vicious Fledgling in the process.
They're all good.
Most of his plays that turn were good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have recommended Witching Hour, branching paths for buff your minions.
You know, if you don't have a beast in your death pool, you actually just can't cast
That's
Witching
true,
Hour.
actually, yeah, you can't.
Like, it's just 3 mana, you can't play this.
Right.
And this is not a weird concession from SamuelTsao. This is just common sense at this point.
Yep.